Hey YouTube, what's going on? ZeroMagnumX. We have a Dominaria box opening. You know, my actual name is on that. He saved the box for me, so he knew which one I was getting. So the tournament organizer is the one who kind of predestined our picks a little bit here. Yeah, hopefully he was lucky. I don't do a ton of Magic content on the channel, mostly because it has the lowest view count. But man, I'm excited about this set, and I had to do a box opening for it. So I just love the flavor of it. It reminds me of how I felt whenever I got into opening Return to Ravnica and other sets like that. So this opening is going to be a little bit different because it is 36 packs. In case of you, those following along, don't know Magic ratios, and 15 cards per pack. So when it comes to this, I'm literally going to do like, I think a pack of showing you all the cards in it, and then we're going to skip to the rare. Because it will be a long video, even averaging a pack per minute will be 36 minutes. Alright, so first up, we have Sergeant at Arms. He has Kicker, which is cool. You pay the cost as he enters. And then when he enters, you make 2/1 tokens if you kicked him. Cool limited card. Befuddle. Target creature gets -4 or -0 until end of turn and draw a card. Drudge Sentinel. Tap 3. It gains indestructible until end of turn. It's a 3-mana 2/1. So kind of a cool blocker. Llanowar Envoy. Pay 1 and 1 green, add 1 mana of any color. So it's a mana negative, but I guess if you're hard up for a third color. Shivan Fire, Kicker for 4 on it. It's a 1 mana instant, deals 2 damage to a creature. If it was kicked, it deals 4 damage. So 5 mana to deal 4, or 1 mana to deal 2. Kind of an interesting card. Alright, and then we have this guy. I think I'm going to do this because I keep wavering my hand. There we go. Create 2/2 White Knight creature tokens with Vigilance for 4 mana. Really good and limited, I actually think, because that's 4 power, 4 toughness between 2 bodies, and Vigilance is a lot. Especially with Knights, there's a lot of Knight tribal cards in this, so this might be a really high pick for draft, and definitely plain and sealed. Getting 2 guys for 4 mana is great. Alright, we have Llanowar Elves. Pretty cool to have this guy back. As a note, that is the full art version of him that I got as a cool promo. So, very neat. I didn't buy it or anything. I was given it by someone. So it's really cool. 1 mana, 1/1. Whenever it dies, you can give something else to one creature. So, neat. Make something else bigger. Eviscerate is a sorcery. It just kills a creature. I remember when 4 mana got you a board wipe. Those were the days. Unwind! One of the absolute best cards in the set. It has incredible, insane applications in Commander if you play that. And Standard, this card is an all-star. It's an uncommon. Pick him up while you can. It's so good. It's a free counterspell. You pay 3, stop a non-creature spell, like, I don't know, a Planeswalker, and you get your 3 mana back. Like, okay, it's great. It's at the rate that it's playable. Elfham Druid, you can add a mana for a 2 mana 0/2 or double green if you kick spells. Like I showed you the kicker keyword, this will add 2 mana to help pay the additional costs. And then we have a new card type. These are what are called as sagas. They're enchantments. They enter the battlefield, and as the first one happens when it enters. So you discard your hand as soon as it enters. As some of you know, sometimes that's a positive thing, depending on your deck. Whenever it goes through a turn and then it becomes your turn, you draw 2 cards. And then if a red source would deal damage to a permanent player this turn, it deals that +2 to that permanent instead. So it buffs up. Not the best of the sagas, but that ditch your hand might be something that happens for future plays. For like, if you have a graveyard-based strategy and have like some kind of draw engine on board, it could be interesting. Then we have Primeval's Glorious Rebirth. It's 7 whole mana. That's a lot of mana. But you get all of your legends back from the graveyard. So pretty cool. That's a rare. And we have an uncommon, Edelus. I think that's the Cinder Wind. He is the Wizard Lord, I believe. Yeah. 3 mana, 2/2 flying haste. And then wizards you control get +1/+1 till end of turn. That's actually really interesting that the rare came before him. I don't know why that is. He is in foil. If anybody knows, let me know, because he is not foil at all. So, and then land in a token. So that's the basis of a magic booster pack, but that's weird that it came after that. I'm not sure why. Alright, like I said, now we're going to get just into the final few cards, like the rare. We'll fan through them, but I didn't want too much going on. We're going to focus this down here. So I'm comfortable through 36 packs of Magic. It's a lot of cards to open. Like I said, fan through. Wizard's Retort's really cool. Just as a note, it's counterspell if you control a wizard. For those following along at home that actually play Magic. And then we have Steel Leaf Champion, which is our rare. It's triple green, and it can't be blocked with creatures of power 2 or less. So it's a 5/4 that can smash in for 3 mana. Above the curve, as they say. And then we have another Edelus, the Cinder Wizard. Okay, that's very interesting. And something to note, you guys are seeing this as I'm recording this. It's not a fluke or anything. That's different, interesting, and strange all at the same time. And land a token. So I'll put those up there. Next pack. I wonder if with this set you just get a legendary in the last slot behind the rare, which is a really neat concept. That'd be very, very different from anything they've done before. I know, like, flip cards, they did that. Back in the day, whenever those were relevant. Okay, our rare is Benelish Marshal. Other creatures you control get +1/+1, but he's triple white, so he's a huge investment for white decks. We have a foil land, which has like gorgeous artwork. I don't know if you can see that. The shine on is very nice. And then we have another. I think that's what they did. I think they put legendary creatures almost like guaranteed in the back, which is a really cool concept. We have Rana, Disciple of Gix. I think, or Jix. I don't know. I think Gix. We'll go with Gix. Sounds better. They have Grixis, and this is almost those colors. So it's a legendary creature, and whenever it enters the battlefield, you may exile a target historic card from your graveyard. And then it costs non-land cards exile with Rana, and then you exile a top card of your library. Pretty cool. So interesting card. I don't know if it'll see any play for actual tournaments, but cool thing nonetheless. And we have Saprolan Token. Alright, moving on, because we're already at 8 minutes and barely into the box itself. Alright. Oh man, that's still off, sorry. I want to make sure the quality is good for this box. There we go. Sometimes I get a little hasty whenever, and excited whenever I'm opening a box I really enjoy, and then I just kind of forget to make sure everything's proper. I think we have Lich's Mastery. That is 6 whopping mana for this guy. Alright, as hexproof, it says, you can't lose the game. Whenever you gain life, draw that many cards. Whenever you lose life, for each 1 life you lost, exile a target permanent you control or a card from your hand or graveyard. Whenever it leaves the battlefield, you lose the game. So, like, if you can keep ahead, this card's incredible. If you get behind, it dies, and then you die. Then we have a Settle the Score foil. Exile target creature. Put 2 loyalty counters on Planeswalker you control. On a Planeswalker. That's pretty spicy. I wonder if that'll see some play. Neat card. And then, oh, one of my, probably my favorite uncommon out of the set, we have a Raph, Capuchin Ship's Mage. It's flying in flash, and then you may cast historic spells, which are artifacts, legendaries, and sagas, as if they had flash. So all the instant speed, all the fun. Alright, oop, my rare. I'm putting in the wrong spot, and then land and token. Okay. To organize this a little bit better. Sorry, the rares are being pushed out of the way, unfortunately. I didn't even mean to do that. I'm trying to keep organized, like I said. Magic is just so much bulk without standing up, and I'm not a guy that likes to stand through opening tons of packs. So I have my camera in front of me in case anybody's curious about the setup, and it's pointed at the card table. Alright. Another Land of Werewolves. Okay, and then we got our first mythic rare of the box. It is Daragaz Reincarnated. He is a 7 mana 7/7 flying trample and haste legendary creature dragon. If it would die instead, exile it with 3 egg counters on it at the beginning of your upkeep. If it was exiled with an egg counter on it, remove the egg counter. Then if it has no egg counters, it comes back. So it's kind of like the never-ending dragon, if you can get a loop going. I don't think it'll see true constructed play, but it has implications in Commander. Because there are ways to remove counters from things, and that might become a thing where he's just a 7 mana 7/7 that you finally get him out and then boom, he's gone, and then you just continuously beat everybody with like Blade of Selves and find some way to like triple his attack, and then you can like one-shot everybody and do something degenerate. I don't know if it'll happen, but it sounds like a neat concept, so I thought I'd throw it out there. And then we have Halar the Firefetcher as our legendary out of the thing. I think I'll mention both of these because it gives you guys some insight to what the set is about. It's about legendary creatures. So it's a 3 mana, 3/3 trample, and then whenever you kick it, or whenever you cast a spell, if that spell is kicked, this one gets a 1/1 counter, and then it deals damage, or when it swings, right? No, put a 1/1 counter on it, and then it deals damage equal to number 1 counters onto each opponent. Okay, cool. So as it grows and gets 1/1 counters, it then like shoots people for counters. That's cool. I haven't gone over every card in this set. That's why I'm like kind of reading through them. And I know this will be a lengthier video. Hopefully you stay with me. But I figured it'd be fun. Hey, I was getting the boxes anyway. Why not record a video? Alright. Alrighty. Oh, good old Sarah Angel reprint. Q. Hey, Sulphur Falls. I needed that card. It's simply a red and blue land, and then if you control an island or a mountain, it comes into play untapped. Very nice. I love red-blue. So, great card. And then our legendary creature is Whisper Blood Liturgist. What a name. It's a legendary creature, human cleric. Sack 2 creatures. Return target creature you control or from your graveyard to the battlefield. Really neat ability, actually. That kind of seems broken just to put Victimize on a creature. That might be a brew around me commander card. No one's like talking that's low key. Just like bring your stupid stuff back and do things. But I don't know how much you can do in mono black. You can use a Serald or whatever it is, the Praetor. And maybe there's a deck there. That's cool though. I like that. Especially it being uncommon. That's like a cheap commander. Because some commanders get pretty pricey. Oh, I guess we should do that. Sorry about that. There's something to look at while I'm cracking packs open here in the background. And then jibber-jabbering. Alright. Giant Turtle! Sorry, I could not help myself. That is a 6 mana 4/5 hexproof turtle. Awesome. Okay, we're going to move on now. I hope we're going to have like a pre-release on Sunday that's being held. I hope I pull that because I want to beat people with a 4, 5, 6 mana turtle in limited. That'd be super fun. Alright, now moving on. Sorry for being a stranger for a second. Okay, we have another. I think we'll go over the Saga since they're a new card type as well. This one, as I mentioned Sagas already, so if you've been following along, you know what they do. It's 5 mana, so it enters. Each opponent sacrifices a creature or planeswalker. Then each opponent discards a card, and then put target creature or planeswalker from a graveyard into the battlefield and under your control. This seems stupid in Commander. I'm going to say that right now. Everybody loses a creature or planeswalker. Then everybody discards a card, probably lands, so whatever. But then you get to turn 3, and there's limited enchantment removal in Commander. You're just like, I'll just take all the stuff I killed. And the nice thing about Sagas is they just trigger on upkeep. So you pay the initial 5, which will be a lot cheaper in Commander. Maybe even cheat it into play, and then just like do a bunch of stuff. That seems kind of dumb for multiplayer Commander. Very cool. Alright, and then we have Oath of Teferi. This is one of my favorite new cards. I don't know how far we'll get with it. I think it definitely has standard playability, but we'll see. When it enters the battlefield, exile target permanent you control. Return to the battlefield under its own or at the controller at its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. Sorry, I've been reading too many Yu-Gi-Oh cards lately. Got tongue-tied. And then you may activate the loyalty abilities of planeswalkers you control twice each turn, rather than only once. This thing is stupid. There's one other card that does this, and it's called Chain Veil. And it kind of breaks formats around it. So, I much appreciate a standard playable card that can do this, and a format that is likely slow enough to land this with profit. Like, play some planeswalkers, get some control magic going, land this, and just like go ham on your opponent in a turn. Seems pretty nice. And then our legend of the pack is Slin Vada, the Rising Deep. It's 8 mana. Kicker with 2, because why not? Our legends have to cost 10 mana. Whenever it enters the battlefield, if it was kicked, you bounce all creatures to owner's hand except for itself, leviathans, octopuses, and serpents. I don't think this card's seeing any play anywhere. Attaching Overwhelm to a creature seems like overwhelm, like WHELM, doesn't seem great. Oh, Opt with the new artwork. Cool. I forgot that was in here. I really like the artwork on it. It's pretty cool. Alright. Moving on. Neat story thing. I'm not going to spoil too much. And then our rare of the pack is Siege Game Commander. Oh yeah, I forgot he's back. Because reprints, why not more? He's a good old powerful card in the right decks. When he enters, you just make 3 1/1 Gobos, and then you can sack Gobos to deal 2 damage to any target, which is fun. But the idea is that you cheat this guy into play, and then you just get like an army of goblins, and then you're in a token-based deck at that point. You're just churning out more goblins. Our legendary of the pack is Shauna Sisei's Legacy. It's a green and a white, and then it can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponent control, or just target of abilities, not spells, so it's not hexproof. Important to know. Spells can still smoke it, and it gets 1/1 for each creature you control. So, it's okay. Not the best, but yeah. So, I guess it has some significance, but not a whole bunch. What? Oh, cool. Alright. Moving on. Dove! Such a cool card. For limited. Limited for those who aren't following along. If you've ever played Draft or ever played an event where you open your booster packs and then you play with the cards you open in your packs, that is sealed. Or in Magic, it's limited, then in branch off is sealed, and in Draft, and in different forms of thereof. Alright, Time of Ice. Again, I said I'd go over the Sagas because they're new cards and they're interesting and fun. Tap target creature an opponent controls. It doesn't untap during its opponent's untap step for as long as you control Time of Ice. So this guy keeps stuff down twice per turn. So you play it and it's like that thing stays down. Then on next turn that thing stays down. And then it bounces all tap creatures that are in his hand. So like if they want to attack in the turn that this is going to go off, they're losing their board. This could be significant. I don't know yet. But cool card. Alright, and then we have the first Eruption, which is a red rare saga. Again, I explained what sagas do. So at 1, when it enters, it deals 1 damage to each creature without flying. Cool. Number 2 is add 2 red mana, and then 3 is sacrifice a mountain. If you do, it deals 3 damage to each creature. So not terrible. I wish it said each creature and each player. Because there's a cool Neheb deck that you can run in Commander kind of pseudo-casually. And this would be really awesome in it. It still may go in it, but I don't know. And then our legend is Urgoros, the Empty One. It's 4 mana and 2 black, so 6 total. 4/4/3 flyer. Whenever it when it deals combat damage to a player, they discard a card at random. If that player can't, you draw a card. So it's a Spectre. I don't know why it's a legendary Spectre. That's weird. It seems weak. Don't play it. Not at 6 mana. For a legendary, I'd expect it to be like 3 mana. Maybe, 4 would be like fair. So yeah. I guess they just wanted to make it feel big and feel like a legendary, and it was a miss. I'd rather my legendary do something dumb, since it's the only one I can have of it on the battlefield, than like half the 6 mana cost for something that is subpar. Okay, we have 2-headed giant for a rare. He is one of the coolest cards in this set. I actually wish he was legendary, but he is not. He's a 4 mana 4/4, just so I could use him as a commander, because I have a really funny commander deck in mind with him. Whenever he attacks, you flip 2 coins. If both coins come up heads, it gains double strike. If both coins come up tails, it gains menace. So kind of cool. I guess you don't want to make him legendary so you can stack these guys, but it would still be funny. Like, I don't know what I'm going to be hit with. I either have to block it with 2 creatures, or it's going to double strike. Like, which one? And if there's a way to, like, copy your abilities, you can just continuously copy your abilities. It do some silly shenanigans. That is widely irrelevant, but still cool. We got a foil, because I can talk, Mesa Unicorn. And then our legend of the pack is a human shaman. He is Valduk, Keeper of the Flame. He's a 3 mana 3/2. And then at the beginning of a combat on your turn, for each aura and equipment attached to him, you make a 3/1 red elemental token with haste, and then it gets removed from play. So kind of cool. Build he's army in a can if you can keep going. Alright, next pack. Moving right along. I can't believe we got through a whole pack without looking at a card. Okay, besides the legendary. Alright, we have Torgar, Famine Incarnate. He's an 8 mana 7/6. As an additional cost to cast a spell, you may sacrifice any number of creatures. It costs 2 less to cast for each creature sacrificed this way. Whenever it enters the battlefield, up to 1 target player's life totals become half their starting life total rounded down. So it comes in and like halves your opponent's life total. I've seen effects like this. This is cool because you can use like sacrifice outlets, even in like Commander and stuff, to reduce them down to like 2 black, and then you're just like, yep, I'm gonna do my thing, and now your life total becomes like half of what you had. So maybe he'll punch someone and like beat them in the turn. Oh, and we don't. Okay. No legend on the back. Weird. Alright. Final pack this is a final pack out of the first line of cards. Like I said, long video. Lots of cards to go through. Lots of things to talk to you about. Oh, okay. Oh, I missed our rare because I was too preoccupied with the multicolor legendary that is more interesting. Dread Shade is triple black, 3/3. Pay 1 black, he gets 1/1 until end of turn. Sure. But our legendary creature is Slimefoot the Stowaway. This is actually the Weatherlight's janitor. I'm not kidding. Whenever a sapperling you control dies, it deals 1 damage to each opponent and you gain 1 life. For 4 mana, you can make a 1/1 sapperling creature. There is a card called Gave in Commander, and this card is BFFs with Gave. Because Gave can produce bunches of mana and get into a loop where it produces infinite mana and can keep making infinite guys. And the fact that it makes infinite mana and uses this, you make infinite mana, you create infinite guys, and everybody dies. It's a fun time for everyone besides everybody dying. Oh, okay, it's a fun time for the Gave player. And I know somebody who uses this deck, so I'm sure she is in love with this card. At least I would think so. But yeah, awesome, awesome card. For that deck especially. Alright, now we'll move on to the second stack here. Like I said, this is probably going to be a long video. Because we do have cool stuff to talk about. I think that's the most interesting thing if you're following along at home about this video, is it's not going to be, hey, another unwind. Quick, but it's going to be full of content. At least I hope so. Okay, our rare of the set is another dinosaur, because we just didn't get through Ixalan. It's a 4 mana 5/5. This is the only dino in the set from what I understand. If you pay 3, you can kick him. It sounds oddly cruel. And then he fights another creature if you kick him. So he is a 4 mana 5/5, because there are cheaper spells that make creatures fight that you could just use. Yes, he's all in one if you really needed him to, but a 4 mana 5/5 rate is why you're probably playing this card. If I'm wrong, I'm sorry, but that's how I see it. And then we have Tatsuko Umezawa Fugitive. He's 2 mana 1/3, legendary human rogue, and then creatures you control power 1 or less, or power or toughness 1 or less, they can't be blocked. So, interesting card. It feels like a build around me, especially with the legendary creature type. I don't know if that's going to be relevant in Commander. Oh, cool, we got an emblem. Maybe that means we'll get her. Although, I'm really hoping for it's a fairy. That's the card I want most. Okay, we got a rare. Haphazard Bombardment. It's a 6 mana enchantment. It comes into play with choose 4 non-enchantment permanents you don't control and put them an aim counter on them. At the beginning of your end step, if 2 or more permanents you don't control have a name counter on it, you destroy one of those permanents at random. So it can pseudo spot removal. At 6 mana, it's terrible. Don't play it. Unless somehow you have a way to keep this recurring and let it live. Okay, and we already went over that legend, so yay, we could skip over that pack for the most part. I like when we can just skip over a pack. It's nice. So, yeah, okay, that's new into the Royal. So I saw a bunch of eyes and I was like, what is this? Okay, we went over the Eldest Reborn. Yes. Okay, we have our Artifact legendary creature. It's a 4 mana 7/7. Trample. It enters the battlefield tapped and doesn't untap during your untap step. Whenever you cast a historic spell, untap it. Artifacts, legendaries, and sagas are historic spells. You know how easy this is to untap in something like I don't know, Brea and Commander? It's a 7/7 trample. Yeah, well, this seems like a breakable card, but I don't know in what. Oh, and then we just, okay. No legend at the back. Again, also weird. But yeah, I can see this 4 mana 7/7 being talked about, even in like standard. Like smack for 7, play something that's legendary and cheap, and then like have stupid amounts of things. And the cool thing is it's like pseudo vigilance, which is really good. Hey, Woodland Cemetery is the same thing as the red-blue land, but for green and black. So not much to talk about. You have to have a swamp or a forest, and it comes into play untapped. Oh, cool. Okay, so our foil rare of the box is Grand Warlord Radha. He is a 4-mana 3/4 with haste. Whenever one or more creatures attack, or you control attack, add that much mana in any combination of red or green. Okay, until end of turn, you don't lose mana as you move phases and steps. So, if you don't know, mana empties between phases and steps. She prevents that, so you can make a bunch of mana. It reminds me of Neheb, but like a red-green version. So, kind of cool. Gives you more options. And then we already went over him. Quite recently, actually. So we have our... Sorry, that is not a mythic. We have our foil here, and then those. Alright, moving right on. I don't want to be here all night. Alright, we have Kamal Druidic Vow. I think this is one of the coolest cards in this set, but it has a heavy cost as a legendary sorcery. You have to have a legendary creature or planeswalker. It's not just like a legendary card. You have to, it's as a creature or planeswalker, which is very specific. Look at the top X cards of your library. You may put any number of land and or legendary permanent cards with converted mana cost X or less from among them onto the battlefield and put the rest in your graveyard. So it reminds me of Genesis Wave. Redundant copies of Genesis Wave might become a thing in other formats if you can make it work. And then we have Grun the Lonely King. He is a 6-mana 5/5 legendary creature ape warrior. Hi Grun. Okay, for 3 mana you can kick him, and when he's kicked, he enters the battlefield with 5/1 counters on him. So he big. He really big. And then whenever he attacks alone, double its power and toughness till end of turn. Okay. So if you can find one more power to give him in a commander game, you can one-shot people with him. That might be a deck to brew around. That's very interesting. And green has no problem in the mana ramp department. That's what it does. Like, as far as a color identity goes. Right, and we got a Clifftop Retreat, literally the same as the other lands I've showed you. This adds red or white. So let's slide that right on top of the lands. And we got a Shivan Fire Foil. Ooh, I like this card. I don't know how good it is, but I like it. It's a 5-mana 3/3. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, you gain 1 life and draw a card. It's a merfolk, which is important and legendary, so it can be used as a commander. I don't know what implications this has yet, but I'm very interested. And only one mythic so far. I'm feeling light on the mythic rares. Hopefully we get one soon. I mean, they're not like guaranteed, but hopefully we get one soon. Well, I shouldn't say they aren't guaranteed, but Yawgmoth's Vile Offering. For 5 mana, put up to 2 target creature or planeswalker cards from a graveyard under the battlefield under your control. Destroy up to 1 target creature or planeswalker. Exile it. And then you have to have a legendary creature or sorcery. This card could be really good in Commander. It's like a redundant copy of Zombify, but it can grab planeswalkers. So that might make it relevant. Even your own, like Brooding Back. And then our legendary creature is Bard? I don't know how to say that. Steward of Argiv? Sure. Creatures can't attack you or planeswalkers you control unless their controller pays 1 for each of those creatures. So it is Ghostly Prison on a stick. More redundant copies of Ghostly Prison are great. I wonder if he will be standard playable, because making your opponent pay mana to attack you, it's kind of always a cool thing. Like, You have to slow them down while you promote your own strategy. Especially in like controlling decks. I don't know if it'll see play yet, but I hope it does. Here we have another saga I'm going to go over. Song of Freyal? I guess so. Anyway, that's irrelevant. The irrelevant part is what it does. It is 1 and a green until your next turn. This is when it enters, and then on the next turn's upkeep, all your creatures gain add 1 mana of any mana to your mana pool. So you make your field of creatures Birds of Paradise. And then at 3, whenever it sacks and goes away, it just leaves the field. Put a 1/1 creature or 1 counter on each creature you control. Those creatures gain Vigilance, Trample, and Indestructible until the turn. So, wowza on punching your opponent in the face really hard after making a bunch of mana. Okay, well, we got another Mythic Rare. We have Naru Mecha Master Wizard. 4 mana, 3/3 with Flash. Whenever it enters the battlefield, copy target instant or sorcery spell you control. You may choose new targets for the copy, and other wizards you control gain +1/+1. So it is a Wizard Lord, which is really cool as our second Mythic. Sophie. Shh. Sorry, my daughter is babbling uncontrollably in her crib right now, and I don't know why. She likes to talk, which is fine, but there's talking and there's babbling. She's like babbling. Alright. Alright, we already went over this because we pulled the foil of her. So we have Grand Warlord of Rada. So there you go. Regular version. Put her with our rares and no legend behind it. Interesting. Cat. Alright. Moving right along with opening the packs. We already went through Time of Ice, so I don't got to go through that again. Thorn Elemental. Remember whenever this card was foil and one of the most broken cards in our little casual play group we had. And we have Jaya's Immolating Inferno. So it's a legendary sorcery. Again, you need a legendary creature in play to use it, or a planeswalker. X double red. It deals X damage to each up to 3 targets. Not terrible, actually. I don't know if it will see a bunch of play in like Commander, but I think it might see some play in Standard. Specifically because this card exists. So you can kind of just like burn 3 of their cards. Like their face and then 2 others. And we already went over Whisper. We have Foil Whisper. And we already went over to Tatjova, however you say it. I'm bad with names sometimes, so... We're going to see more redundancy as we move forward because we're going to be opening similar or the, exact same cards. Rather, we will be opening like this copies of the same cards. So, I'm rambling. My brain kind of fried there. Sorry about that. Oh, Shahali, Voice of Plenty is a 4 mana 3/4. You, planeswalkers you control, and other creatures you control have hexproof. And 4 mana and 2 any, put a 1/1 counter on each creature you control. Wow, this card seems bonkers. It's 4 mana 3/4 that gives everything else besides itself hexproof, and then you can pump it if you're running green. Pretty cool. Let's see what happens with it. I like it a lot. Okay. Sorry, this is Karn. Sign of Urza, foil. Legendary Planeswalker, Karn, 4 mana, 5 loyalty. He is by far the most expensive card in the set. First off, his +1 is reveal up to 2 cards of your library. Or reveal 2 cards of your library, I guess that has to be 2. An opponent chooses one of them. Put that card in your hand, and the other goes to exile with a silver counter on it, which is a marker. And then -1, you can put a card you own with a silver counter on it into your hand, like if it's an exile. So you basically eventually get both halves. And the -2 is you make a 0/0 colorless construct artifact token with this creature gets 1/1 for each artifact you control. So really cool. But yeah, I need a sleeve. I thought we pulled our foil of the set because it was the rare we pulled right here. Well, we just pulled the most expensive card in the set. In the most expensive version you can get. I'll take that. Oh man, okay. We're good now. And then, sorry, but wow, that kind of blew away. What else was in the pack? So we'll go over it because it's a legendary that we haven't gone over yet. But yeah, foil card. Okay. Arvad the Curse is a 5-mana 3/3 with Death Touch and Lifelink. He's a legendary creature, Vampire Knight. And other legendary creatures you control, weird subtype, get +2/+2. So it's a legendary lord, which is interesting. Okay, moving on. Okay, I'm pretty happy about Jahoria, Weatherlight Captain. She is 2 any, blue and a red, 3/3. Whenever you cast a historic spell, draw a card. Artifacts, legendaries, and sagas are historic. She is the absolute buzz talk in Commander right now, as far as finding ways to break her, because you just draw cards and do a bunch of different things. And she is also just like the blue-red Commander. So, really happy about that, actually. I still wish I could get Teferi, but I will I'll take a foil Karn. I'm good with that. And I will take this as well. So, very, very cool. I was actually hoping to pull that. I'm only sad she's not a wizard. That makes me sad, because then, like, you don't get the travel benefits. Yeah, good box all of a sudden. Where's my mythics? They had about a foil mythic. Okay. I won't complain. If we get to Fairy, this will be my favorite box I think I've ever opened. Oh, oops, we almost skipped our Forebear's Blade. It is a 3-mana, equipped for 3. An equipped creature gets +3/+0, has Vigilance and Trample. Whenever a equipped creature dies, attaches it to a target creature you control. So after you get it going and equipped, it just kind of finds another target to put itself on, which is really cool. I see that having a lot of implications. And then we already went over Rana, and moving on. Sorry, foil Karn. My mind's like, what? Like I said, I just didn't expect that, but sometimes you win the lotto. Okay, another Clifftop Retreat. We literally pulled this already, so not much to talk about. This we have something to talk about. Okay, Tiana, Ship's Caretaker, is a 5-mana 3/3 angel with flying and first strike. Whenever an aura or equipment you control is put in the graveyard from the battlefield, you may return that card to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. So it kind of recycles artifacts, which is interesting. Or, I guess, auras too, if you need them. Sadly, SRAM is mono white, unfortunately. But still cool. As if there was a way to like make it like a Cheerios deck that it's called to get more Aetherflux Reservoir triggers, that would be a way to do it. Potentially, like, or refuel for the next turn if you don't go off. Smurf Soldier. Okay, I'll pull another Karn. Why not? Yeah, we went over him. I guess so. Sure. Okay. No, I don't need the sleeve. Thank you, honey. That was just for the foil. Foil Karn is pricey. Regular Karn is still pricey, but not foil Karn pricey, as far as I know. All right. We have a legendary creature. There's not much to talk about, but it's a 5-mana, 9/3. So he has keyword big. Legendary creature, Frog Spirit. With a lot of flavor text. In Commander, he will just 9 people into oblivion. So, I mean, granted, 9 and 7 aren't that different, but still cool. But if you ever want to see what a vanilla legendary creature looks like, there is a 9/3 for 5 mana. Again, he has keyword big. Alrighty. And then we have a rare. This is also a promo, actually. You may pay 3 and a blue and tap an untapped artifact you control rather than pay its mana cost, and it's a 5/6 flyer. So, really cool card overall. I don't know how much play it'll see. It seems like it's interesting. It almost seems like there's an artifact deck somewhere in this set that you can play this with. So, I think he's neat. We'll see, though. Oh, and then just, hey, Teferi emblem. I'd love to see the actual card. Yeah, I mean, just, you know, why not? Pull another card. Man, oh man. Sorry that I keep saying about Teferi. I mean, I'll take Karns all day. But Teferi is going into my standard deck, which is what you always kind of hope to do with these sorts of box openings. Hey, we have Squee the Immortal. You may cast Squee the Immortal from your graveyard or from exile. This is probably the most bonker cards, one of the most bonker cards for Commander. Like, it does so much. I'm not going to get into the length of talking about it. Check out the Laboratory Maniacs if you want their set review of Dominaria. It's about 55 minutes or so long, and they will go over the cards they think are most valuable for competitive EDH / competitive Commander. And Squee is like high on that list, if not the card. Moving forward. Did we go with this? No, we did not. We have another Saga to read. Chinder's Torment. It's a 4 mana enchantment. It deals 2 damage to each opponent and you gain 2 life. So cool. That's what it does for 2 turns. And then you make an XX Black Nightmare horror creature token where X is half your life total, rounded up, and it deals X damage to you. So it hurts you, but you get a giant thing. Alright, I'll take a Mox Amber too. I guess. Okay, so this is the new Mox. Add 1 mana of any color among legendary creatures and planeswalkers you control. Very cool. It's useful. The set's based around legendaries. It's a mana rock. They're just always good. And then we have Danitha, Cassafen's Paragon. It's a 3 mana 2/2 with first strike, Vigilance and Lifelink, and an aura and equipment spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. So it is SRAM for 3 mana without the draw. For those who know what SRAM is. If you don't, check him out. Look him up. I encourage people to learn more about the game. Good news is we have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is the 6-pack in my hand we're holding. So we're getting toward the end here. If you stayed with me for this long, thank you so very much. Like I said, I'm super excited. I wanted to record this box opening because it's sweet. There's good value in it, and I love the flavor of it. I've always really enjoyed legendary creatures as a story point, and I'm glad that we have like really powerful competitive story points. Okay. So we have Black Blade Reforged. It's a legendary artifact equipment. From what I understand, this blade is like super evil in the lore, which is an equipment. So with a name like Black Blade Reforged, might need a little talking about. Equipped creature gets 1/1 for each land you control. For equip a legendary creature, costs 3 mana. Otherwise, it's 7 mana to equip. So kind of cool. But yeah, the backstory of this card is more interesting than itself. It's just like it was like quenched in blood or something, from what I understand, or quelched, or what? No, quenched is the right word. And we got another Slimefoot. We went over him already. Okay. Moving forward. I don't expect any more mythics, but if I get them, I'm not gonna complain. But this box has proven me wrong 3 ways from Sunday already. Okay, cool. Jodi Archmage Eternal is hoping to get this, guys, of 4 mana, 4/3, flying, and then you may pay 1 of each mana color rather than pay the mana cost of spells that you cast. Really cool card being talked about in Commander. Might be something I toy around with, especially since I love Jeskai. And we'll go from there. But yes, I am personally happy about this card. I don't know what it'll do. And then I guess we have a land in the token. But yeah, he basically makes your deck available for 5 colors, but is Jeskai colors. Which is the weirdest thing for Jeskai to do in Commander, because I was hoping for like a solid Jeskai leader. But I mean, I'll take it. I mean, he's 3 mana, 4/3, but at 4 mana, I don't know. Huh? Okay. No rare, but we get our foil first, sure. Hummerad, Explorer, and then we got another Traxxas, Scourge of the Krug. Weird. Sure. Bizarre that it happened that way. But I'm not... I mean, I'll take another, like, 4 mana 7/7. They're big. So why not? Okay, and then we have a Sylvan Awakening. It's a 3 mana until your sorcery. Until your next turn, all lands you control become 2/2 elemental creatures with reach, indestructible, and haste. They're still lands. I see why this is 3 mana, because you don't untap them. That's important. So this is basically decent at 6 mana. So yeah, something to think about unless you have another generator of mana. It doesn't... Like, your guys are tapped, so it's like, yeah, or your mana's tapped, and you're like, I play this, and then they have all that while tapped. Okay, Quen, Pride of Femorev. He is really cool. He's a 4 mana legendary human knight. Double strike, and creatures you control, first strike, gain double strike. So he's kind of like a first strike lord, or sorry, with first strike, gain double strike. Gain double strike with double strike is redundant. But yeah, so if they have first strike, they just gain double strike. It's like he's teaching them how to use swords, which is cool. Or, like, get better with your weapons. Like, oh, you're going to be battle hardy? Well, learn how to be better in battle hardy. Alrighty. Okay, I'll take a Gilded Lotus. It's 5 mana artifact. Add 3 mana of any one color to your mana pool. Very cool. I needed this card, especially for Commander. I'm glad I pulled it. And we have a new one we haven't gone over. Is Garna the Bloodflame. It is 3 mana, black and a red. Whenever it enters the battlefield, return to your hand all creature cards in your graveyard that were put there anywhere from anywhere this turn, and then other creatures you control have haste. So very cool, actually. So flashes in, and they're like, I save all my guys dying from combat, and then like now we get them all back and play most of them because this is 5 mana, and then we get to swing back at you. It's actually one of my favorite like low-key cards of the deck, or yeah, of the set. I don't know if it'll do anything outside of limited, but I think it's cool. Alright, this is the final pack. We're thumbing through it because I don't expect anything too outstanding. Yeah, I thought so. Okay, so now we have hit our Cowbell Stronghold. It is tap, add Diamond 3, add a black for each basic swamp you control. So really nice mana accelerator whenever you get past a certain point. I think this will see implications in Commander more than anything. Because if you tap it 4 mana, but have like a bunch of basic swamps, this thing can go ham. Like you flood the board with swamps if you ramped or whatever, found a way to do it. It's cool. And then your goal to finish us off. Well, YouTube, I hope you enjoyed this very lengthy box opening, but I quite enjoyed opening it and giving you a video to watch. Hopefully you weren't too bored with the content. And yeah, if you liked it, please remember to subscribe, and catch you guys later. Take care and have a good one, YouTube.